Thank you all once again for joining. Thank you for being here, and thank you for offering to celebrate your evenings and spend them with us. I hope you enjoy your dinner. I hope you are enjoying the program. And lastly, and most importantly, I hope you are enjoying your Master of Ceremonies. Thank you. Just before I ask for the next speaker to join me on the stage, I'd like to share a quick, brief story of one of the clients of AccessCal. I've changed his name, but it's a story of an individual who came from Eritrea. His name is Simon. Simon applied to receive a visa to the US in the draft lottery. And he received the visa along with his wife and his daughter. But his 14-year-old son was not granted the visa. So he was left behind in Eritrea. As soon as Simon came to the US, he came to Access California Services so they can help him be reunited with his son. So our immigration department took Simon's case, which was assigned to the embassy in Kenya. So he's in Eritrea. His case is assigned to the US Embassy in Kenya, which is very dangerous. And our immigration department asked so that it can be transferred over to Ethiopia, which was less dangerous. And luckily that request was granted. But what was unfortunate was that Simon's son could not enter Ethiopia unless he was to be smuggled into the country. And sure enough, Simon's son was smuggled into Ethiopia, where he became a refugee, and he was settled into the refugee camps. So in trying to find him, it took a lot of hard work. Our immigration department reached out to the deputy consul, or to the deputy ambassador of the US in Ethiopia. And because of the time difference, she would wake up Rania at 2 or 3 in the morning so that she can speak to the embassy. And so the ambassador granted the request, but then it still had to be approved by the section chief. And so again, she spent many nights speaking and corresponding across the globe outside of what you would call business hours, so she can reunite the family. And I'm happy to say that that family was reunited specifically by the work of Access California Services. This is just one of the many touching stories. I can be up here forever. AccessCal has served over 400,000 clients in 20 years. Now, if that's not an accomplishment, I don't know what is. And it started with the dream of one single woman. I'd like you all to join me in welcoming her to the stage. Please help me and put your hands together for Nahla Kayali.
Thank you, Tariq. Good evening, dear friends and family. They just flew by. 20 years from 1998 to 2018. To give you numbers, the lifespan of Access California Services has crossed 2 centuries, covered 2 decades, and exceeded 400,000 plus services. That's a quite accomplishment. But let me tell you something. It was not easy. We did struggle and faced a lot of oppositions. It was even harder for an organization to survive because it was led by a woman. Many times, we were pushed to the side, phone calls were ignored, requests were denied, and we were not invited to important community meetings. We simply were not given a chance. I remember going to the office on few occasions, planning to give up and shut down. But the sight of one eager client waiting outside for the doors to open meant that our doors cannot be closed. We together kept our faith strong, our faith in God, our faith in our community, and our faith in the work we do. When I look back at our history, I think of the famous Mexican proverb. They tried to bury us, but they did not know we were seeds. Well, I'll tell you, we were seeds and we became trees. To those who needed a lifeline, we gave and still give oxygen. To those who needed to catch their breath, we gave and still give shade. To those who needed our nourishment, we gave and still gave fruit. We drew inspiration from many along the way, and for them, we are thankful and grateful. This organization was built on the backs of countless staff, advisors, volunteers, board members, donors, and supporters like you. I thank them all. And I thank most deeply my parents. I thank my siblings. I thank my entire family. Everyone has helped AccessCal become what it is today. A lighthouse, a safe haven, a home looking for refugees. 44 years ago, I was a refugee looking for a home, and the United States of America gave me that home. 20 years ago, I was looking for a purpose. Access California Services gave me that purpose. I fell in love with it. I gave it my mind and my body. I gave it my spirit and my soul. I gave it my all. They say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Well, my friend, we have barely just begun our first 20. We come a long way and have ways to go. But tonight, my friends, we celebrate. We celebrate the togetherness. Because that truly is the most exciting aspect. If I were to look back at the past 20 years and describe our greatest success, our many accomplishments and achievements, I would say that we together made a change. We together reunited families. We together fed people. We together housed people. We together protected people. We together nursed people. We together counseled people. We together provided people with access to health care. We together trained people. We together employed people. We together advocated for human rights. We together brought smiles to the faces of children. We together empowered people to become contributing citizens. We together enhanced the lives of our seniors. We together transformed the landscape of our community. But most importantly, we together preserved their dignity and enriched their lives. My kids always tell me, you gave birth to 4 children, Ahmed, Tammy, Dina, and AccessCal. And they say that I spoiled and gave the most attention to the baby. My children are the loves of my life. I thank them especially. After I married each of them off, I sat at home the next day after the wedding alone. So I drank my coffee, I got dressed, and I drove home to the office. After all, home where is the heart is. Thank you all for helping build that home. Together, for me and for countless others. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. Please, another warm round of applause. Thank you, Nahla, for all your hard work and your dedication. Thank you to the sponsors, thank you to the volunteers, to the advisors, to the former employees and staff. This organization developed with just a dream and a vision, but it has become a pillar of the community. Many people look toward AccessCal, and now at this point, we have a brief movie for you. But before we do that, I figured, if I can have your attention, I figured that we should just go through the past 20 years very briefly, and building off of Nahla's We Together, I'd like to get into what we did each of those years. Well, you all know what happened in 1998. We together opened our doors. In 1999, we together hired our first employee. In 2000, we together, yes, I want to hear it louder. In 1999, we hired our first employee. In 2000, we received the census grant. It was the first grant the federal government gave to measure the population of the Muslim and Arab American communities in California. In 2001, we together withstood the hate and the vile racism and kept our doors open in the face after the September 2011 attacks. In 2002, we, come on, in 2002, we together received our first formal and financial support from the city of Anaheim and from the Arab American Resource Corps. In 2003, we together we're at risk of shutting down because of state budget cuts, but we survived. In 2004, we together moved into the iconic care building where we established our mental health department and launched our financial assistance program. In 2005, we together hosted our first annual gala. In 2006, we together changed our identity and got this new and beautiful logo of a family. In 2007, we together became the first organization in the entire County of Orange jurisdiction to be accredited by the Board of Immigration Appeals. That's a big beep deal. It's really a big deal. In 2008, we together created more wraparound services, which means helping everyone from employment to ESL to even attaining basic health insurance. I hope you guys aren't bored of me yet. In 2009, we hired our longest tenured employee who has helped us bring millions of dollars to the organization. In 2010, we together reached a $1 million annual operating budget. That was 8 years ago. More is to come. In 2011 was a huge year, and I mean huge. We together became the lead partner for the County of Orange for the County of Orange to provide every refugee who enters the county with employment. So any refugee from any country, as soon as they entered the entire jurisdiction of the County of Orange, they had to come to Access California first, whether or not they were part of the niche community that we serve. Yes, please come on, give us a round of applause. We're celebrating tonight. Everybody put a smile on, it's free. The fundraising is coming up in a bit, so that's not free, but while you can, enjoy the free stuff. In 2012, we together were chosen as the only AmeriCorps program in California to provide direct social services to underserved communities. In 2013, we together moved into our new home and received the Obamacare Covered California grant. Also in 2013, just a quick plug, I was hired at Access California Services. Yeah! Cool, I hope that woke everyone up. In 2014, we together were recognized by the White House with the Champion of Change Award and outreached to over 54,000 individuals all the way from South San Diego to north of Redding. Who's heard of Redding? Yeah, we went there. In 2015, we together were recognized by the United Nations Refugee Agency Worldwide Communications spokesperson, Melissa Fleming. In 2016, we together were recognized by Disneyland and the city of Anaheim for all the work that we do, in addition to the Walt Disney Foundation, for the community. In 2017, just a few months ago, we, help me one last time. In 2017, we together reached 40 full-time employees in headcount and an almost $2 million annual operating budget. Wow. And in 2018, tonight, we together, we celebrate We celebrate, like Nahla said, by the way, she's my aunt, so if you saw me kissing her on stage, she's actually, yeah. Anyhow, so in 2018, we're celebrating the togetherness, the unity, and the services that we offer. I know I've been up here for too long. I hope you haven't fallen asleep, but if you have, please grab a tissue because we're about to put on a beautiful movie and it will be touching. Please turn your attention toward the screens. Thank you very much.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp. America, the land of opportunities, a land where we can make our dreams come true, a land which accepts and values our passion and talent, a land with unparalleled opportunities. Throughout history, immigrants and refugees have fled hardship, violence and wars, seeking freedom, opportunity, and safety. Immigrants and refugees who were once vulnerable overcame their struggles and captured the opportunities to help shape America's history and culture. Through their hard work, their knowledge, and their passion, they have taught us, they have entertained us, they have led us, they have empowered us, they have advanced us, and they have engaged us. Within every immigrant and refugee story, there's a story of hope, dreams, passion, success, and the potential to become a contributing citizen. To strengthen the fabric of America, and all stories of greatness begin with a helping hand, a source of support, an empathetic ear, and a compassionate heart. Access California Services for 20 years has just been that. A safe haven providing services and support so thousands of immigrants and refugees can fulfill their dreams, thrive, and give back to communities.
My son was shot in Iraq. Access helped me get my US passport within 24 hours.
I am a refugee from Syria. I couldn't to go to school for the past 7 years because of the war.
I came from Iran. I have a legal issue facing court.
Mi nombre es Ámbar, vengo de Perú. Este país es nuevo para mí, no conocíamos el lenguaje, fue muy difícil, no tenía trabajo.
Access helped me issue my ticket to Iraq. I was obliged to see my son after 12 years, but my son passed away after 1 month and died. Access helped me and my brother with SSI and IHSS citizenship and housing. Access our second home.
Access California Service helped me and my family in many ways.
I came to Access for emotional, financial, and counseling. My life is better now, and I thanks for Access.
It was 20 years ago that the Community Action Partnership of Orange County invested in an extraordinary woman with a grand vision. We made a minor financial investment, provided a desk, a chair, and a phone, and she has grown that to the service provided today through Access California, reaching out to an underserved community, providing a broad array of services, and a vital social service organization in our community.
I met Nala in 1998. She was one person who listened and responded to the needs of the Arab and Muslim American communities. She had a folding table, a borrowed phone, and a meager budget of $2,000. Today, still committed to that mission and vision, our Southern California community is enriched by the vision of that one person who believed in helping individuals in need retain their dignity.
أنا جيت على أكسس كاليفورنيا من أول ما وصلت، والحمد لله توفقت بناس محترمة وناس طيبة كتير، قدموا لي مساعدات كتير مهمة ساعدتني على أني أنا تكون حياتي أحلى بكتير وأجمل بكتير هون في أمريكا. أعتقد أنه لولا وجود أكسس كاليفورنيا أنا كان ممكن أرجع، أو كان ممكن يكون حياتي فيها فشل كبير. أنا وجدت فرص عمل، أنا ساعدوني على علاج ابني، ساعدوني في إيجار الشقة تبعيتي، ولسه هذا كله حاضر، ولسه في بالمستقبل كتير شيء محضر لبنتي ولقبولها بالجامعة. الحقيقة عاجز عن الوصف، الوقت ما بيساعدني كتير أحكي، بس اللي ما شاف أكسس كاليفورنيا كأني ما شاف أمريكا.
Access me hizo la vida más fácil, me ayudó mucho y ahora ya estoy mejor.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank Access for 20 years of invaluable service to our community and to our society. And in particular, I want to thank Nahla Kiali for her leadership and her vision in providing us with a great voice for our community, and that is Access. When it comes to refugee communities that need assistance in resettlement, when it comes to job training, when it comes to counseling services, we turn to Access. So thank you for restoring the most important thing for a human being, and that is human dignity. That's what brings communities and religions together. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
As Muslims, it is very important for us to be involved in social services, taking care of the poor and the needy. Islam emphasizes very much helping the others. Allah fi auni al-abd ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhi. Allah will help the people as long as they help others. We have to help all human beings regardless of their colors and races and religions, because we are all human beings as one family. And I want to thank and congratulate Access California for providing these services to people for the last 20 years, mashallah. We thank Access, we thank the leadership of Access, Sister Nahla Kiali, and the people who work there, people who volunteer for this with this organization, as well as people who support this organization.
Hi guys, my name is Ali Salim. I'm currently a 15-year-old and I'm a refugee from Iraq. Right after I came to the United States, I was a very timid and introvert person, and I found that through Access, through the Youth Collective. And the Youth Collective has really helped me to be the leader that I am today and how extrovert I am today. Through the Youth Collective, I'm currently a part of my school's ASB. I'm in Key Club, which is an international service-based organization, and I'm also in many other culture clubs. I believe that if it wasn't for the Youth Collective, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because the Youth Collective helped me develop some leadership skills that I still use up to date. In 8 years, I see myself studying in medical school, preferably at Stanford University, because it has one of the best medical programs, and I see myself working while studying so I can help my parents.
My name is Farzana Mohammed. I'm from Pakistan. I lost my job due to my car accident, so I come here to Access California. They help me to in food and medical, and they cooperate. The staff is very nice and cooperative, so I always recommend it to needy people to come over here, and they help you as much as they can, and God bless them.
Yes, Access California helped with us. Now we have English class, and we read English in our class. Our teacher is very good teacher, and he is very kind. I like him.
I was born and raised in Venezuela, and we have a little issue. A little issue between husband and wife, nothing major. And the Child Protective Service, they came, and pretty much they make it so hard. They took away from me my family, which is the most valuable thing I had. When I came to Access, I went to some classes, like parenting classes, anger management, counseling, and it made me strong. I was really, really down, depressed. I mean, no motivation whatsoever. So thank you to Access and Wally. They helped me to go through this problem. And like I say, it really helped me a lot. Now when they see, the document, they see I went to classes and all that, they'll help a lot to get my family at least back together.
I'm Mike Ryan, the Director of Orange County Social Services. And on behalf of the County of Orange, I'd like to congratulate Access California Services on their 20th anniversary. You have been a leader in supporting the refugee population in Orange County by providing critical services and a network of support. You should be proud of the services you've provided. You truly are impacting the lives of many, many people. So congratulations, and I look forward to our continued partnership in serving this community together.
I still remember 20 years ago when Nahla approached me about her vision and her idea. I felt so privileged to be part of that first group to get together and make that project and this idea happen. As a civil rights activist and leader, I can tell you there are no civil rights that can be protected. There is no civic engagement that could happen unless these citizens and these members of our communities are provided the necessary tools to know their rights, to know their responsibilities, and then to be full-fledged citizens in our country. Thank you for all your services.
Hello, dear friends and supporters. Tonight we celebrate 20 years of serving our community. The clips you just saw are only a small glimpse into a journey of Access California Services. It has been a journey of a great accomplishments and successes. AccessCal started at a one-room office using just one folding table and one folding chair. AccessCal has now become a dynamic health and human service organization. We have come such a long way together, and I thank you all for your compassion, your time, your commitment, and your trust in us to help those in need. You are a pillar in helping us keep our organization stand strong. By continuing to stand with us, you are helping AccessCal become a critical landmark and safe haven for generations to come. A home for underserved immigrants and refugees families. Tonight, I humbly urge you to continue supporting our mission as we together preserve the dignity and enrich lives of many for years to come. Thank you.
And that every humongous building just starts as a dot on a blueprint. Well, Access California Services has started as a dot, but to me it represents so much more than that. It's a candle. And the reason I say that it's a candle is because it illuminates the world around it. It serves as a beacon of light for all those in need, for the underserved, and it just represents hope for everyone. The privileged and the underprivileged, the served and the servers, and the underserved. It serves everyone. I was looking at the 5 largest religions by denomination, by just straight numbers: Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and atheism. And in each of those religions, compassion is a basic tenet. In fact, there's one verse in the Bible, in John 3:17, that says beautifully, and I'll read it to you from the English Standard Version. But if anyone has the world's goods and possessions and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love reside in him? And in Hinduism, it is stated that compassion is one of the basic tenets of the caste system of the cosmic world, as in Buddhism. And in Islam, God says in verse number 177 of chapter 2, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I'll recite it in Arabic and then I'll say it in English. I'll translate it. ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن الدساتير والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون. The translation says that piety is not in turning your face to the east or to the west, but piety lies in believing in not only God, the last day, and the angels and the scriptures and the prophets, but piety is in distributing and giving your wealth out of love for God and compassion among your kin and the orphans, the wayfarers, the travelers, the needy, the mendicants, and freeing the slaves, observing the prayers. That truly fulfilling all this in patience during adversity and struggle is the description of those who follow the straight path. So in every religion, we hear about offering our services, our support to those who need it. I was reading in the news the other day that there was a burning motorcycle and all the bystanders came together to lift the motorcycle from above the burning man so they can save him. That, to me, is what AccessCal is. And then I saw that there was a viral post about a dry cleaning company who offered to clean a suit for every homeless person who wanted to apply to a job. They said, if you don't have a job and you have a suit that needs to be cleaned, come in and we'll do it for you for free. That, to me, is what AccessCal is. Donating blood to an individual who is in need, that is what AccessCal is. It's helping, it's serving, because in the end, you will be served. At each of your tables, there's an envelope for every single individual on the table. We're not going to do a fundraising asking people to donate 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. I just expect that everyone is putting in 50,000 into the envelopes. So please, we'll do this honorably and quietly because I'm sure you guys are bored of me by now and you guys want to hear our keynote and our comedian. Please pick up your pens, look at the papers, select the amount that you would like to donate, fill it in, and we have ushers who will be walking around the tables picking it up. Before I let you guys go and get the lights off of me, 2 quick announcements. The orchids in the centerpiece of the table are not free. You can donate and take them home. There's an envelope also especially for the orchids. Please do put in a donation and then you can take it home. We have a Snapchat filter. We have a Facebook check-in and we have Twitter hashtags. We will announce the winner of the battle in the end. Please continue to hashtag. We will take another winner starting at 8:35 in 3 minutes after you finish writing your checks. So please pay attention to that and happy writing. Thank you very much. Dr. Jose Marino is currently the mayor pro tem of the city of Anaheim. Dr. Jose Marino was elected to the Anaheim City Council in November 2016. Prior to the council, Dr. Marino served on the Anaheim Board of Education from 2006 until 2014. Marino is an associate professor and former chair in the Department of Chicano and Latino Studies at Cal State Long Beach, where he focuses on Latino education and policy studies. He is the youngest son of an immigrant family, and he received his bachelor's in social ecology from UCI and his master's and doctorate in administration, planning, and social policy from Harvard University. Dr. Marino is the president of Los Amigos of Orange County. He has served or currently served on many different boards, including the Orange County Community Housing Corps, Orange County Communities for Responsible Development, and Anaheim Police Department Chiefs Advisory Board. Please help me welcome Dr. Jose Marino to the stage. Thank you.
Good evening, buenas noches. Tariq isn't Tariq doing a great job? A wonderful job? I don't know what he meant right now as he shook my hand. He said, good luck, Doc. Thank you, Nahala, for the invitation to speak this evening. I, as was mentioned, initially was going to give you a welcome on behalf of our city, on behalf of our mayor and our council persons who are here present, Councilwoman Denise Barnes, Councilman Fessel, and Councilman Vanderbilt, along with the rest of our city council, who proudly stands behind the work that Access California represents. Unfortunately, as you heard, Father Greg Boyle, who is certainly a blessing to all of us globally, his work is understood as one that works with those spirits who many folks have given up on in our society. And he revitalizes them and he brings them back into the fold through his faith and his love of humanity. So certainly our prayers as a family, of the families of Anaheim and as a council of Anaheim, and certainly as a community, are with Father Will and his family. Certainly also would like to extend our wonderful congratulations to our honorees. Awesome work that is being done by Doctora Memon and Al-Marayati. Thank you for all of your work that you do in our communities to make our world better. Nahala asked me when she said, would you mind saying a few words to help us understand a little bit more about the individual process one goes through when they migrate to this country through the perspective of the lived experience of my family who grew up in Oxnard, California. We were born in Mexico, Guasave, Sinaloa, Mexico. I could barely see. Is it possible to put the lights up a little bit? Because it's hard to speak without looking at beautiful people. So I would love to be able to see beautiful people all over the place, if possible. So we were born in Mexico, and when I was 4 years old, my parents, actually when I was 1 year old, my dad came to the United States to work as many immigrants from Latin America and other parts of our country do during extreme poverty for us in Mexico. He came up with the intention to work for 1 year, go back home, build up a business with the money he earns here in the United States. During that year that he was here, my mom came to visit him on a visa. And while she was here, she was taking a shower, was doing a self-exam, and found a little bump in her breast. Of course, she got worried because in Mexico, my mom learned through my aunts that you should always think about doing self-examinations when there is breast cancer in your family. So my mom went back to Mexico and she went to the doctor's office, and sure enough, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And the doctor said, Señora, si quieres sobrevivir, señora, if you'd like to live, you need to go back to the United States and get treatment. We do not have the medical facilities and the technology to save you at this point, given where your breast cancer is. So my mom made the difficult decision to come up, to get her therapy, to get chemotherapy. And when she came up, she asked my dad, what do? We do not have money to pay for this. The money is supposed to go to the children, so we go home, so we build something for ourselves. Why don't we just go ahead and do that? And leave my hands in the hands of God. And my dad said, well, if we're in the hands of God, let's put ourselves in the hands of those whose talent he gave to look at lives and try to save lives. So in Oxnard, California, my mom and my dad started knocking on doors of different doctors' offices, having very little money. And they asked, is there a way that you can look at her to see if there's a way to help her with this predicament, with this ailment? Through the kindness of a physician, of a doctor, a family doctor, he says, I will. I'll take a look. And what he found is he said, you do need treatment and you need it immediately. How much can you pay? And the doctors, my parents said, well, all we can afford is $25 a month is the most we can do. And the doctor said, I'll take it. If you promise me one thing. What's that? That you'll fight hard. Juanita, that was my mom's name. So the doctor started the treatments with my mom. And after a year and a half of treatment, she went into remission. And the doctor said, the cancer is gone. However, Juanita, the thing about breast cancer is, if it comes back more aggressive. And you're not going to be able to diagnose it on your own if it comes back. So you need to stay here for at least 5 years in the United States to be under my care so we can make sure that you can beat this thing fully. And I won't charge you for those follow-ups. So my parents made the decision that they needed to stay in the United States. There were four of us in our family. My sister was the oldest, Jessica. My brother Humberto was the oldest boy. Juan, the middle child. And I am the baby, the youngest. So they went back to Mexico. My mom went to Mexico, pulled the family together, and told my older siblings that we needed to move to los Estados Unidos, vamos al norte. But they didn't know how to tell Jose, because Jose was 4 years old, about to start kindergarten. And Jose was really excited about starting kindergarten. So they pulled the family together and they came up with a plan. Everybody got around the circle. They asked me to come into the room and they said, Jose, ¿quieres ir a Disneylandia? Do you want to go to Disneyland? What does a child do when they say you want to go to Disneyland? What do? Vámonos, right? Let's go. So I got really excited, and they didn't want to tell me we were leaving to not going to Disneyland, that we were going to the United States to live. So we came and we moved to Oxnard, California. And I didn't get to Disneyland until I was about 13 years old. When we got to the U.S., we came on tourist visas, which is about how 40% of our undocumented families who come to the U.S. actually come to the U.S. with a visa of some kind. And in our context, we came with a tourist visa, hoping that we would stay about 5 years through my mom's care. Ultimately, as we settled in as undocumented children, we were told three things by folks in our family. Folks who lived in the neighborhood. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and the manager was told, do not rent to any illegal aliens. If you do, I will call immigration. So my parents made sure that only 2 of us would live in the apartment with them, and the other 2 would live with other family members. And then when it was time, we would sneak into the apartment, and the property manager, whenever he wasn't around, we would all wait around until we could sneak into the apartment. We were placed in schools here in the United States. My sister Jessica, because our parents' family, their parents' friends said to them, you know, immigration in the early 1970s is really tough during that day, just like we see today. Vans were rolling near schools, green vans, immigration agents were walking neighborhoods. And so the friends of my parents from their work said there's 3 things you need to do so that you don't experience what so many of us do here in Oxnard, an agricultural community. Your kids have to learn English really well right away, and they need to be convinced that they were born in the United States. They have to convince an agent that they were born in the hospital here in Oxnard. So I was raised to constantly practice in the mirror over and over that my name's Jose. Senator Newman. My name's Jose Moreno. I was born in Oxnard, California, September 2nd, 1969. How can I help you, sir? We had to practice that every single day. And the funny part was our parents were the judges of how well our English was, although they didn't understand English. It's the funny part. So we practiced every day, and so we said, okay, our English is getting there, so we learn English. The second thing was they said, you can't put your children in the same school. If you put your children in the same school, immigration does go into our schools or waits outside of our schools. So if you put all 4 of your children in the same school, they told my parents, and immigration arrives at that school, you'll lose all 4 of your kids. Imagine a parent, a mom, or a dad being told, if you put your children in a school, you could lose all of your children. So my parents put us in three different schools. My sister Jessica was sent to a school 2 hours away in Lancaster with friends that my parents had. My brother Humberto Tito was put in a 6th grade school right down the street, and I went to school with him as a kindergartner. And my brother Juan was sent to another elementary school in a separate school. Through that process, we developed friendships, we developed ideas, but we always understood that we had to hide. We were told when we came home from school, we had to close the curtains, we had to put the TV at a really low volume, and if we saw anyone in a uniform, we couldn't trust them because we didn't know if they were immigration. So we lived a life in the shadows, as we know, with immigrant families, learning English, my parents working hard at a factory, and the children working really hard in school. We were told, don't get into any trouble. Don't get into any trouble, because if you do, the teachers can call immigration and deport you, have you deported. So when folks say, Jose, how did you get straight A's in school? We were afraid of being deported. We had to focus on our education. My parents valued education, but they said, you have to do well, otherwise you put us all at risk. One day, about 4 years after being in this country, we came home and we were told never to answer the door because we were afraid of who it would be. My parents were told anybody can become a reporter and tell immigration that illegal aliens are living in this home. So we wouldn't answer the door if anyone answered. My parents said, no one can come into this home. One day we heard a van out in front, and it was an immigration van. It turns out one day in my mom's factory where she worked as a seamstress, immigration raided the factory. And as many immigrant communities who are in an undocumented context, there's a conversation that happens about how you prepare if there's an immigration raid in your community. And that preparation is that those who have papers or are legal permanent residents, or those who might be US citizens, they are the first ones to run. So the practice is, if you're legal, quote unquote, or if you're a citizen, you run if immigration comes into the factory. And if you're undocumented, you stay still, you stay calm, and you act like you're a citizen, with the belief that immigration agents will just chase those who run. Well, on that day, immigration officers came to the factory, and mostly women, 300 sewing machines in a row, mostly immigrant women, largely Mexican, some Salvadorian, and some Korean immigrant women. Immigration officers rush in, as it's rehearsed, practiced, and discussed. Over time in that fabrica, those who have papers ran. My mom just sat there quietly, just praying, just looking as stoic as possible. As soon as the agents ran outside of that building, the 10 to 15 or so women who they were looking for exited out through a back door and walked out. My mom ran immediately to her car and ran underneath the car and hid there for about 10 to 15 minutes until the coast was clear. That was the plan. As she sat there in terror thinking, what about my children? What's gonna happen to my children? What's gonna happen to them? She sat in fear thinking, I made the wrong decision. I should not have come here. I should have died in Mexico. I should have stayed there with them. And now I'm here, what's gonna happen to my kids? Because it was known in the immigrant community, as it is today, that if your parents are deported and you're a child and you don't have your parents, you're put into social services, often put into immigration detention centers. So my mom was terrorized for those 15 minutes. She felt the coast was clear. She starts to crawl out, and there are 2 immigration agents waiting for her. They literally waited for her for 15 minutes, knowing she was laying there in terror, afraid of them. And as soon as she came out, they put handcuffs on her, put her in a van, and said, you need to go. So she begged these agents, and out of an act of kindness, in our city of kindness, is what our kindness motto is here in Anaheim. Out of an act of kindness, one of the agents begins to listen to her. And he says, you have children? And she says, I do. Please, just please take me home to my children. Let me see my children at least one more time. So they came, and the children were home, and they knocked on the door, and we were scared, we were terrified. Many ways that we hear today from our children around not just our country, but our world. What do we do? Our mom is in handcuffs. What do we do? My oldest brother says, as the oldest boy often does, I'm going to help my mom. And he reaches for the door, and my sister tackles him and says, no, you can't. We can't answer the door. My dad was home, and my mom and dad had a pact. They said, if one of us gets caught, the other one can't do anything because you have to stay with the children. So my dad said, we can't answer the door. And he says, we need to hide. We need to go into the bathroom. We need to hide. We'll find out what happens later. You need to stay with me here. So we sat there and figured out, what do we do? And then my mom finally says, mijo, abre la puerta, mijo, está bien. Says, son, open the door, it's okay, open the door. So we open the door, and the officer says, are you the Moreno family? Yes, we are, sir. Scared as children can be. I said, yes, sir, we are. So they gave my mom a notice of 30 days and said, you have 30 days to leave the country. Today's your lucky day. So right upon that moment, in fear, my mom says, what do we do? What do we do? And she calls her friend after the officers leave. And this is where organizations like Access California mean so much to all of us, especially during these times. A friend says, there's a clinic in Santa Barbara, 40 minutes away. If you go, they have lawyers, and they'll provide some legal advice of what you can do. You might be able to do something. So sure enough, we went over to Santa Barbara, and by the grace of God and the kindness of a lawyer, he says, I'll take your case. And he filed the case on our behalf and appealed our case under the extreme question of my mom's health, as well as loopholes in the law that said if you're here for a certain amount of years, we can't deport you, but you also cannot be legalized. So through that process, we had to go to the judge about every 6 months to share our grades, to share our love for America. And by the grace of God, in 1986, with the Immigration Reform and Control Act, under the pen of Ronald Reagan, we were legalized with our papers in 1986. Thank you. This process is only possible because of the kindness of people willing to share their professional expertise and knowledge, using their lived experience to make sure that others have the possibilities and have the dignity to dream. To dream in a society that asks us to dream, right? That says we are here to support you. So that's why folks like Nahala and others who work so hard every day to make sure, as we saw in the video, that folks have a hope. But with that, it's not just a hope, but it's action. It's moving from hope to optimism. What we say with Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, que sí se puede. Yes, we can, right? So because of that process, however, the psychology always stays with us as immigrant children. Always wondering, are we good enough? Should we hide? Should we be public? It stays with you. So the mental health toll that it takes on all of us. My mom still wonders to this day, was it worth it? But then she looks at us, her children. My sister Jessica, the oldest, who came as an 11-year-old, graduated from UC Irvine in biological sciences with honors. She went to UCI as an undocumented student. Graduated. When we received our papers in 1986, she went off to UC San Francisco, one of the top medical schools in the world. She received her degree and became an obstetrician gynecologist, like doctora. She's now serving the public, indigent patients, immigrant patients in Arizona in community clinics through the University Medical Center. My brother Juan, also undocumented when he started at UC Irvine, graduated from UC Irvine, went to medical school at UC Irvine, and is now a family practitioner with Kaiser Permanente. When he arrived at Kaiser, he said, we have 17,000 Spanish-dominant patients here in Sacramento, and we have 3 Spanish-speaking doctors in this hospital. So thinking about our own process, he says, we have to do something about this. And he challenged Kaiser, if you want our people's money, you need to serve them. Kaiser, you have to serve them. They have needs, they have wants, they have medical conditions. And he thought about my mom, how we would have to go into the the medical room to see her naked because we didn't have translators, so the children had to translate for her. So he says, we can't have that. So he pushed, and now they have a Latino medical clinic at Kaiser that's dedicated to Spanish-dominant patients through Kaiser. I share that because our lived experiences shape what we should be doing as adults. We know that, right? And as policymakers, and as folks who can give. As policymakers, it is on us to make that difference. And myself, I was fortunate to go to UC Irvine as a legal resident, was able to access financial aid, and by the grace of God, was able to graduate with a doctorate from Harvard University, one of the best universities in the world. And with that opportunity, having grown up, being told as a 4-year-old to say, "Quieres ir a Disneylandia?" And now I'm serving as mayor pro tem of the happiest place on earth, right? And people with wonderful colleagues who are pushing hard to make sure every child has an opportunity. So I say to folks, many folks say only in America, but I say no, it's not only in America. It's only where human beings remind one another about our humanity. It's not only in America, but America makes those possibilities even greater for us. Thank you for your patience in listening to the story of my family, to the story of what we try to do here with Access. Thank you. And I know I've gone a long time, but I would be remiss, Tariq, if I don't share with you a final point. That the glory for us is the success we've had that many of you have. So it's just one story. But there's also the story of my oldest brother, Humberto. Humberto, being the oldest immigrant boy, took a lot of the brunt of what it means to not speak English, to be undocumented. So he was pulled into the negative conditions of gangs. He was swallowed by our streets, my parents not knowing how to manage that. He was swallowed by drugs. We lost my oldest brother to drugs, to a heroin addiction in 1999. So we ask ourselves every day, what can we have done different for Tito? And that's why I ask you, think about our success, but also think about those we could have done more for. And that's what we need to fight for. For the oldest brother, for the oldest sister, the youngest brother, the youngest sister, who struggles with their parents to make right, to make America whole. So thank you again, folks. Think about all of the great work we're all doing, and let's keep working together. Adelante juntos.
Thank you, Dr. Jose Marino. Very quickly, there are still some items in the silent auction. The orchids, you can take it home if you just donate. And lastly, we now invite our comedian Mo Amer to the stage. Please put your hands together for Muhammad Amer. Mo is a pioneer of Arab American stand-up. In addition to touring with Dave Chappelle, he made international headlines when he rode with,
I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt you. Give it up for Tariq, everyone. I know, you introduced me already, Tariq. Can we please give a big round of applause to Tariq for his great MC work this evening? Tariq, you are dressed like you're about to get married. Can you give Tariq a big round of applause? Thank you so much, bro, appreciate it. Give him a big round of applause. Give these brothers a round of applause too. Or don't, give AccessCal, I want to give you a big round. Wow, 20 years, mashallah, that's amazing. Let's give them a big round of applause. What an amazing service. It's incredible. Dr. Moreno, that was fantastic. Nice to meet you. You know, there's not a big difference between Arabs and Mexicans or Latinos in general. It's not a big difference. Although I want to acknowledge one thing. They say that Latinos have a lot of kids. I would beg to differ. I believe that Arabs take it to a whole new level. I walked up to my cousin Khalil. He had a baby in his arms. I was like, Khalil, Habibi, I didn't know you had a baby. He goes, nah, man, this is my uncle. So, until you know, no, that was a really moving speech. Please give him a big round of applause. That was, what a wonderful thing to share. I mean, one thing that I take away from that is like, moms are just gangsters. That's what it is. The bottom line is, I don't know what dad does, because moms Moms are just amazing. Like, I was born in Kuwait. I left Kuwait after the first Gulf War, and when the war broke out, my father was a millionaire. You know, he lost everything overnight, and the whole family was in shambles. My dad was like, we don't have any money. We lost all our money. And my mom just had a regular face. She didn't have a panicked face. And my dad looks at her, he's like, what's wrong with you? You should be as excited as I am. We don't have any money. And she goes, we have money. And my dad's like, what? She's like, we have money. We're like, how much money? Don't ask. I was like, whoa. My mom had like $100,000 under the mattress, just in case some things went wrong with Dad, I guess. But she was ready, and she got us out, man. That's how she did it. She was supposed to get my sister and I out of Kuwait on a school bus through Iraq, which is also a war zone, to Amman, Jordan. Amman, Jordan, we're supposed to go to Houston, Texas, because that's where refugees go, I guess. We didn't know, so we found out that they were taking anything valuable in Baghdad. They were taking anything valuable of anybody going through there. So my mom, she grabs a razor, she cuts a perfect line behind each zipper in her purse, puts equal amounts of money on each side, sews it up. I'm like, I don't know what mom's doing, but it's definitely gangster right now. She makes 2 custom money belts for herself and my sister. And then she found a little bit of money left over, and she puts it in the lining. She gets a little lazy, and she puts it in the lining of the suitcase. Now we hop on this bus, and our lives are definitely changing forever. We get to Baghdad, we're looking out of the window, and we see them just breaking suitcases. Just not even like checking the light. No, they are breaking them. They are cutting them open. And I look over, and my sister is sweating profusely. She has 0 gangster skills. She's like, oh my God. And my mom starts, you know, she's angry but smiling. Habibti, oh Habibti, you're gonna get us all killed, Habibti. She had none. Like, if anybody walked up to my sister, be like, is there something you should tell us? She'd be like, we have money, right? We were all gonna go to jail. We're all gonna go to jail. And my mom tells her to grab me and to leave the bus. And we get off, we're like, let my mom do her thing. We walk off the bus. We spend about 45 minutes just outside of the bus. We see my mom get up off of her seat. She opens up the suitcase with the money, messes up all the clothes, and then she grabs some orange peels that were left over from the trip, and she throws them on the luggage, and she sits back down. We start to walk on the bus, and then the soldier sees my mom. He is very upset. He starts yelling at her, what the hell's wrong with you? Everybody's supposed to get searched. Everybody's off the bus. His superior officer sees him, he gets upset, he jumps on the bus, grabs him, pins him up against the wall. He goes, what the hell is the matter with you? How could you talk to this lady this way? Look at this lady's suitcase. It's obviously been searched. And look at the smile on this woman's face. It's obviously not a face of a liar. And he grabs him and he kicks him off the bus. And all I can think of is, damn, my mother is a gangster. So that's how we got to America. I had to share that after you said that beautiful story. But that's how moms are. And then the journey begins with immigration. We have Trump in power. This is amazing. I mean, for me, as a comedian, it's fantastic. I ended up sitting next to his son and became a global story, just sitting next to his son. That's how pathetic of times we live in right now, that me just sitting next to him does that. I traveled as a refugee for many years, and when we first got to Houston, just to piggyback on what you're saying, you know, there was no research. Like, my family didn't do any research. We were like, okay, this neighborhood, right? We had no idea there was gangs. Like, there were so many gangs in Houston, and there was Latino gangs and black gangs, and they would fight each other. Well, I had an issue because the Latino gangs wanted to recruit me because they thought I was Mexican, and then the black gangs wanted to beat me up because they thought I was Mexican. I'm walking to school just having a regular day, and these Mexican gangs were hanging out, and this guy just jumps out at me. He's like, "Say, vato, you walk by here every day, you don't say nothing, don't do nothing, what? You're not down with your own peoples, bro? You're not down with your own familia, bro? This is your familia, bro. You're not down? Andale, bro. What's your name? Don't be shy. Andale. What's your name?" I was like, "My name is Muhammad." He's like, "What? For real, bro? You look exactly like Hector. How is that possible?" He's like, hey, bring Hector. We found this doppelganger, bro. And we were laughing so hard. And then I was like, hold on, you guys sell drugs. I need to leave. And I left, and I had a decent day. And then I'm leaving, and I see all the black gangs hanging out. And I was like, oh, no, not today. Please, please not today. And, of course, they smelled that fear from a mile away. And this guy jumps out at me, and he goes, say, Jose. You're in the wrong neighborhood, Jose. You done messed up today, Jose. You better turn around, Jose. I'm looking around, I don't see anybody else. I'm like, who's Jose, man? It's like, my name is Muhammad. He goes, man, salam alaikum, brother, my bad, you know? So I ended up selling them all fake Rolexes. That's what I did. I was a young Arab entrepreneur right out of the gate. But I toured, man. I started touring stand-up comedy professionally at the age of 17. And I don't think immigration anticipated a refugee going on to an illustrious touring career. I would get interrogated and questioned in every single country I would visit. By far, Japan is probably my favorite interrogation I've ever had. It was just an hour long, very quick. It was. But it was like 59 minutes of them just trying to tell them what I did for a living. The whole thing, the whole thing was like, so, what is your occupation? I was like, I'm a comedian. Comedian? Yeah, I do stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy. Yeah, man, I'm a comedian. Comedian. What is going on? Yeah, I do stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedian. Yeah, I do tell jokes. You tell a joke, sir, comedian. For 45 minutes, it's comedian. Yeah, comedy, comedian. Finally, his friend walks in. He's like, give me the shit. Comedian. He goes, oh yeah. He's like a Bill Cosby. That's what got me off, was Bill Cosby in that scenario. Not literally, guys, figuratively. It's true. It was a rough situation. I was in London at Heathrow. Some late stragglers. I was in London. I'm waiting for the immigration officer to come in. As I'm sitting there, I notice there's a poster with a dog on it. This dog has a passport around his neck, and the poster says, get your pet citizenship today. I'm like, that is insulting on so many different levels. I was upset. I decided when I got back to Texas, I was gonna call immigration, and use my super white voice, because that's what I do over the phone. I use a very, very white voice, because that's how I get things done. And the lady answers the phone, though, with an attitude right out of the gate. So I get back to Houston, I call immigration, the lady's like, hi, INS, what can I do for you today? I was like, hi, yes, hi. I've been in the States for almost 17 years at this point. I'm trying to see if I can get my citizenship just a little bit faster. She goes, okay, baby, okay, let me look up your file here. What's your last name? I was like, oh, my last name is Amer, huh? A-M-E-R. It's almost like America without the Ika. Oh, that's cute, baby, that's really cute. But what's your first name? My first name? My first name is Muhammad. Oh, quit playing, baby. No, really, what's your first name? I'm like, hey, that is my first name. She's like, oh, you ain't gonna get your citizenship, baby. Please hold. I was like, what the hell just happened? The lady puts me on hold, and the hold music was never gonna get it, never gonna get it. And I was like, really? And then she picked up the phone real quick and goes, woo, 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 and hangs up on me. I was like, it's not nice. Immigration, I wish it made it easier on you. You know, it's just like it's very funny what they do. Like before you become a citizen, you have to take an American history exam. Like very easy questions like who's the first president? Bush, easy stuff like that. It's very simple. No, really, this is an oral exam. Like you study for 100 questions and they only ask you 10 of those questions. Supposed to ask you 10. But for me, it was different. She only asked me one. And the lady who's giving me this exam is originally Chinese. I swear to God, it's a true story. It's originally Chinese, and she had a thick Chinese accent, which is cool. Of course it's cool. I just, I didn't expect it. I just turned the corner, and she was more excited for me than I was for myself. I turned the corner, and she was like, oh, today big day. Today big day. I was looking around like, what? Is this the American Citizenship Office? She's like, you're in the right place. Come in. Sit down. It's like, okay. She goes, okay, fuck question. I was like, excuse me? I think you meant first question. She was like, yeah, fuck question. I swear to God, she's like, okay, who the first president of the United States? I was like, Bush. She was like, correcta. I don't care. I see your file. You've been waiting here 20 years. You ready? She was, okay, get out of here. I was like, I'm finished? She's like, no, you have to go to interview. Which really means one more interrogation. Let's be honest about it, guys. This thing became very real. I was so scared. I was sitting there next to this guy named Javier. We became really good friends. I'm like, hola Javier, ¿tú eres bien, amigo? He's like, sí, estoy bien, pero estoy nervioso. I was like, yo también, esperando 2 horas, sí. All of a sudden the door opens up. Come on in. Me or Javier? You, sir, please come on in. I still don't know who you're talking to, sir. You pointing at everyone else, please come on in. It's me, Javier, cuídate. Sit down. Okay. Please answer yes or no to the following questions. Okay. I mean, yes, no, whatever. First question. Have you or most you know been involved with or given funds to from the time period of 1933 to 1945 with the Nazi Party? What? Oh, you're just kidding. Bro, you had me so nervous. I thought you were serious. Please answer yes or no. No, I was not involved with the Nazi Party at all whatsoever, man. I wasn't even born. I don't know what file you're looking at. Next question. Have you or most you know been involved with or given funds to any terrorist organizations? Mr. Mohammed Mustafa Amer. He said it that slow. That's extremely racist. If I could ask him a question back, it'd be very simple. Who the hell says yes? Okay? For real, who says yes? Is this an effective method of capturing terrorists worldwide? I mean, did you catch somebody off guard? Is that how it worked out? Were you sitting there like, have you or anybody else contributed to terrorism? You got me. Oh, you're so tricky, you know? 2 more minutes, I was gonna kill everyone in here. Hey, here's the bomb, okay? Oh, be careful, all right? Hey, cut the green wire, okay? I'm just kidding, the blue wire, all right? I don't know, right? I'm sure that doesn't happen. It's very frustrating. You have to find your way. You are a good person. You're trying to do everything right, but they make you be they almost like force you into being a bad person. That's what I feel like immigration does. Like, it's so irritating. This refugee travel document that I did on Colbert, I feel like a lot of people in here probably saw that, but it was like the most annoying thing. I would go check in at the airport, just seeing there, I know this thing is not gonna work at the kiosk. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, can you check me in? Can you scan your passport? Yeah, I know it doesn't scan. Scan your passport. She's already hates me. I've been there 2 seconds. She already hates me. I scan it, I'm like, ma'am, it's not working. You know, she comes around, you can't fly with this. I was like, there's visa inside of it that was issued from that respected country. I believe they say I can, so I can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. And then she gets on a phone. Some guy comes out, yeah, you can travel with this. This is just getting there. Now you have to go through security. From security, you go to the gate, and then guess what? What they do? You have to show proof that you could travel to that country. I bring in my refugee travel document. I'm like, sorry, sir, you can't travel with this. I'm here. How did I get here? How did I get, your friends let me get here? Obviously I can get, no you can't, yes you can, no you can't, yes you can. It's like a really bad musical. Yes you can, no I can't, yes you can. And then the other guy comes out, yes he can travel with this. Boom, hates me again. I land in that country, sir, you can't get in here. I'm here. I'm in your country. I'm here. There's a visa inside of it. They made a mistake. Your consulate general made a mistake. Point is, we don't want to be terrorists, but if they keep messing around with people, it's the truth. People are good. They keep messing with them. You know what? Maybe I'm just kidding. Everybody in here, astaghfirullah, bro. Come on, relax. It's the truth, man. But alhamdulillah, I got to travel all over the world. Egypt, by far, one of my favorite places that I've ever been to. Any Egyptians here? 6 of them? I'm going to make you feel at home, Egypt. You ready? Here you go. Is that pyramids? Welcome. You just all went to Egypt right now. If you haven't been to Egypt, it is easily the most overwhelming place to land in that I've ever been to. You walk out of the airport, there's like an Arab radar where they recognize another Arab and they all want to give you a ride. All the taxi drivers just get together like, Brazar, you come with me. Forget him, Brazar. Look, Habibi, you come with me. Forget him, Brazar. Look, you come with me. Forget him, Brazar. Look, I have a brand new 1997 Camry. You come with me. And you have to run or else they'll take your bags. You got to think fast. I finally find my friend. I'm like, Hani, Habibi. I jump in his car and we start taking off. When I put my arm outside the window, I'm enjoying the dust and the breeze in Egypt. And my friend Hani goes, Habibi, bring your arm inside. I'm like, no, man. He goes, Habibi, another car is coming. Please put your arm inside. Another car comes and the side mirrors hit each other. I was like, my God, I almost lost my arm in Egypt. And I'm so Americanized. I'm like, hey, we need to stop and get this man's insurance information. Hani didn't even know what insurance was. He's like, what's insurance? Habibi, this is just a kiss in Egypt. Yani bas. He's just saying, Assalamu alaikum bas. As he's telling me this, a car hits us from behind. Just, right? Second time, a third time. I'm like, what is this? He goes, this is just encouragement in Egypt. He wants me to go faster, يعني بس. I was like, he wants you to go faster? This is ridiculous. We finally get on the highway. I'm feeling some relief. We start exiting on the highway and we notice the guy in front of us took the wrong exit. How do I know this? He had his car in reverse, okay? On the highway. And you think this is crazy enough? No, there's like millions of people on this highway. He stops, everybody else behind him stops. They start putting their cars in reverse. One guy gets out. He's like, Yalla, he missed the exit. Yalla, everyone reverse. Yalla, everyone reverse. Walak reverse. Yalla. There's like 5 million people going backwards now. And there's one guy that can't wait. He just slingshots around all of us, and he almost hits us. I was like, Ya Allah, this guy almost hit us, and then he honks, beep, beep, and he waves like that. I'm like, bro, what is this? This is unacceptable. And I honked back, and I held it. I was like, beep. And my friend Hani goes, hey, you can't honk like this in Egypt. I was like, Hani, everyone is honking in Egypt. He goes, yes, it's true, but we have different interpretations for every honk. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, beep, beep means go a little bit faster. Maybe I hit you with my car a little bit, yani. And then he goes, beep, beep means I'm gonna cut you off, almost kill you and your whole family. And then he goes, beep. Well, that's a lot of horrible things about your mother, yani. That's Egypt. I love going there, but I don't like coming back to America, man, when I go to an Arabic country. I'm Palestinian, so when I go to Palestine, thank you, Akhti. When I go to Palestine, I'm good. When I go to Palestine, I just always come back with like 15 suitcases. That's like the protocol. I don't even, when they ask you at the airport, did you pack everything? No, I didn't. My khalto, my aunt packed everything. I just walk in, there's more stuff going in the suitcase. even stuff that my mom didn't request. I didn't pack a thing. So I just literally, I just walk in on my khalto and she's packing mlokhiyeh, which is like spinach, but it's not spinach. It's better than spinach and Arabs love it. And she's putting it in clear plastic bags and then taping it. I'm like, khalto, this looks like marijuana, khalto. She goes, don't worry, we'll make dua for you, inshallah, tusal bisalame. I was like, you're just gonna make dua for me? You're not gonna change the packaging? And then my uncle walks in with olive oil. I'm like, Khalo, I can't take this back. It's illegal to take olive oil back into America. And he goes, don't worry, we will take off the label and we will write olive juice. Ma tkhafsh, you know? This is his genius plan. Ironically, I got in with everything. The immigration officer is like, hey, my uncle misspelled olive juice. The immigration officer read it as, I love Jews. I'm serious. We went right in, no problem. That's the truth. The point is like, you know, that you find yourself as an immigrant, you're always maneuvering around being your best honest self, okay? You're always maneuvering around different ways to do it. Like it just comes out of me naturally at this point. I'm gonna tell you this last story. I'm in Houston. I'm driving on this 2-lane highway. It's the middle of the night. I can't see anything. I miss the exit. And I start making this illegal U-turn in the middle of the highway. I agree, an Egyptian Arab move. And as I'm doing so, I'm running out of space. I was like, oh no. So I put my car in reverse. As I do so, I see this car speeding at me. I was like, oh no. And the guy barely misses me. And he crashes into a ditch. I was like, oh no, man, I could have gotten killed. I was like, this person could have gotten killed. I was like, oh no, he's still in the ditch, Muhammad. Inshallah, he's okay. And then he drives out of the ditch and he parks behind me. I was so relieved. And then he turns on his police lights. That is a horrible situation for anybody to be in, much less Muhammad in the deepest south of South. I was so scared. I turned on all my windows, turned on my lights. I was like, be cool, be cool. And he's cursing from the distance. He's so upset. Beep, beep, beep. He's just so angry. He walks up to me. What the hell is wrong with you? He's like, you're an idiot. I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm an idiot. You're so stupid. You couldn't be righter. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. What were you thinking, you moron? I was like, sir, I wasn't thinking. It was a totally moronic move, completely moronic move. And then he knew something in his heart because he knew he was speeding. He was way over the speed limit. And he was like, oh my God, man, I could have killed you. I could have killed you. I don't know how. I didn't kill you. I was like, I know how. It's because of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's why. And he goes, you right, son? You right, son? Praise Jesus. I was like, praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. I was like, praise Jesus. And then he goes, can I have your driver's license, please, son? So I can just make sure that everything is okay. I was like, oh no. I was like, dear Jesus, please blur this man's eyes so he can't read that my name is Muhammad Mustafa Amir. And I hand him my driver's license. And it was so crazy. He goes, you know what, son? I just feel so blessed that you and I are not severely injured this evening. Why don't you take your driver's license and get out of here? And I was like, alhamdulillah, and I just drove away. Thank you so much, and congratulations to Access. It's been an absolute pleasure. Assalamu alaikum. Real quick, I know I've learned this lesson. I've been doing comedy almost 20 years. I started when I was a 14-year-old kid. This is like such a dream come true for me, for all these beautiful things to be happening. Shows that hard work pays off. But do me a favor, if you're filming, I know a lot, I can't stop Arabs from filming. If you film me tonight, just please, just don't put it out anywhere because alhamdulillah, I'm on my way to making a 1-hour special. I'm very excited about it. Inshallah, you'll pass it on when it comes out and you'll hear about it. But thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, that wraps up our evening tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Please don't forget to pick up your items at the silent auction. Please don't forget to donate and take the orchids home. And please do not forget to thank the volunteers and the staff who have helped build Access into what it is today. See you next year.